You can completely transform your life in exactly 21 days. Not improve it, not make some progress, but literally become a different person with a different reality. And I'm going to prove it to you using actual neuroscience, not this motivational fluff that gets you inspired for a couple of minutes or days. And before you roll your eyes and click away thinking, oh, here's another guy promising overnight transformation, I want to tell you something. Just 1 year ago, I was the biggest skeptic of rapid transformation. Okay? I would roll my eyes so hard at those, transform your life in X amount of days. Because I thought real change took years of therapy, months of building habits, and a lifetime of working on yourself. And I was basically the equivalent of someone who insists in, taking the scenic route everywhere because highways are too fast and dangerous. And I had been doing personal development for over 10 years now, and was still basically the same anxious, self-doubting person I've always been. I had self-help books, courses, dove into spirituality, I got coaches, went to retreats. I would make some progress, feel good for a few weeks, then slide back into my old pattern. And I was tiring. Honestly, I started thinking maybe I was just one of those people who was destined to struggle with the same issues forever. You know these people, right? Who've been working on themselves for decades, but somehow never actually change. Or if they're changing, it's very, very slow. Yeah, that was me. But here's what was driving me crazy. I would see these rapid transformational stories online, and I'd think, yeah, right. They're probably exaggerating. They are paid actors, you know what I mean? Maybe they have a secret advantage that I don't have. In my old reality, change was slow. It was inconsistent, and it required constant maintenance just to stop going backwards. It's exhausting. But that's when I discovered something that changed everything. The 21-day time frame isn't some marketing number I pulled out of my ass, but it's actually based on neuroplasticity research showing exactly how long it takes to create lasting neural change. Okay? But here's the thing. Most people fail because they are trying to change everything at once instead of following the brain's natural rewiring process. Okay? And what that looks like is basically trying to renovate the entire house in one weekend instead of following the blueprint. Our innate natural blueprint. You see, I thought I understood how change worked. I thought it was about willpower, discipline, and just trying really, really hard for a very, very long time. Well, that's what we've been brainwashed to believe, right? All these gurus on YouTube, all these books and stuff. So I was approaching transformation like it was a marathon where I had to just suffer through until you reach the finish line. The point where I had enough was when I realized I'd been working on the same issues for about 3 years. Literally 3 fucking years. Right? 3 years. How did I know? I had journal entries from 2019 that sounded exactly like the journal entries from 2022. Same problems, same insights, same breakthrough moments that led nowhere. Like a hamster wheel on a wheel, running nowhere. Running very hard, getting nowhere. That's when I stumbled upon Dr. Joe, neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, and I discovered something that blew my mind. Your brain can literally create new neural pathways in as little as 21 days, but only if you follow the specific process that the brain needs. Most people fail at transformation because they are working against the brain's natural patterns instead of working with them. You see, if you were like me, you would try to force change through willpower instead of understanding how neural rewiring actually works. And so, I used to think I needed to meditate for hours, do therapy every single week, basically become a monk to create real change. But what I learned is that our brain responds better to consistent, systematic practice than intense, big bursts of effort. Okay? Like going to the gym every single day for 20 minutes versus going once a month and doing a 10-hour training session and nearly dying. Okay? Our brain prefers the daily 20 minutes, even though our ego prefers that dramatic 10-hour session. So, I decided to test this. Is neuroplasticity bullshit? Is this all bullshit? Well, I created a systematic 21-day process based on actual neuroscience research. And what happened completely changed how I understood about transformation. So we're going to break down exactly the method that I used, the specific daily practices that rewire your brain systematically, and I will show you why 21 days isn't just possible, it's optimal for creating lasting change, okay? I'm excited to dive into this shit. So pop open your favorite bottle of wine, because week 1 is what I call the detox phase, okay? Listen carefully. The detox phase is all about breaking unconscious patterns and becoming aware of the 95% of our behavior that automatically runs on autopilot. Now here's the thing. By age 35, 95% of who we are becomes unconscious programming. That means only 5% of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are actually conscious choices. The other 95, well, it's just reruns of yesterday. So we are basically living in a repeat of our own life, and we don't even know it. Like that movie Groundhog Day, right? The Groundhog Day situation. Except the character, Bill Murray, at least he knew he was repeating the same day. Now you know. So this first week is about catching yourself in these automatic patterns. That's it. Now here's this very specific technique that changed everything for me. What I did was set hourly phone alarms throughout the day. Every time that alarm goes off, I would ask myself one simple question. Okay, write this down. Right now, am I being my old self or am I my new self right now? When I started this, I was shocked at how much I was operating from my old identity, even after meditation, without even realizing it. The alarm would go off and I'm like, oh shit, I've just been anxious for the last hour. I didn't even notice it. Each time you catch yourself, just notice that you are aware of it. That's it. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it immediately. Just become aware of it. And write this down. Track your automatic thought patterns. What was that? Okay, I was anxious for the last hour. What was your emotional reactions? How was your physical posture? Okay, I was slouched when I was feeling anxious. I discovered I had this unconscious habit of slouching whenever I felt uncertain about something. And I'd been doing it for years without realizing it. And I was literally programming my body to feel insecure. I dare you to slouch and be confident, okay? The first step is to become aware of it instead of changing it right at the beginning. But once you're aware of it, then you can change it. Awareness is the first step to breaking unconscious programming, because you can't change what you're not aware of. And most people are sleepwalking through their own transformation. And by day 3 of this practice, I started noticing patterns that I had never seen before. Like how I would automatically reach for my phone every time I felt uncomfortable. Or how I would change my tone of voice when I was talking to certain people, like my parents. I realized I had more unconscious habits than a person with OCD. I was a walking collection of automatic responses that I didn't even choose. Well, I probably chose them and kept repeating them until they were hardwired in me. But here's what's amazing. Just the act of becoming aware starts to break that pattern. Did you hear that? Just the act of becoming aware starts to break that pattern. Our brain can't run unconscious programs when you are consciously observing them. Like turning on the lights of a dark room instead of bumping into shit in the dark, okay? Week 1 is simple but not easy. Become conscious of your unconscious patterns. Set those hourly alarms, ask that question, and become aware of what you discover. Don't try to change anything yet, just observe, okay? You are gathering intelligence of your own automatic behaviors. Don't worry, because by the end of week 1, you have a clear map of your unconscious programming, okay? Because that's when week 2 gets interesting. Now week 2 is where the magic happens. This is the reconstruction phase, where you are actively installing new neural pathways. But here's the key. We're not trying to change everything at once. We are strategically rewiring specific patterns, okay? Once you master transformation like this, you can change a multitude of things, everything at once, okay? But for now, don't get overwhelmed. I would suggest one thing so you don't go crazy, okay? So for example, instead of trying to be a completely different person all day long, you choose one specific behavior, one emotion, and one thought pattern of your new identity and practice them throughout the day. That's it. Okay, you know what? Make it a core one so it hits, all pillars of your life. For me, for example, I was transforming from anxious, self-doubting to a confident and certain person. So I chose 3 specific things to practice. 1, confident posture. Okay, that's behavior. Calm certainty, that's emotion. And I've got this as my thought pattern. And I would literally set hourly reminders that said, stand like you own the place. Think like you know what you're doing. My phone became like a personal coach that just wouldn't shut the fuck up. If you work with me, you know I don't shut the fuck up because I want the best for my clients. Every hour, I would practice confident posture every time I was reminded. Okay, I would stand tall, shoulders back, chest open, like I was about to give a TED talk with a room full of people who were excited to hear what I had to say. Now, at first it's going to feel weird, like you're playing dress up with someone else's confidence, but here's what I learned. And Dr. Joe says this, right? Our brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So between real confidence and practiced confidence. Listen to this. It just responds to the neural pattern. Hey, this is a practice. This is practice it till you are it. You're not being fake. You are rehearsing your new identity until it becomes natural. For the emotional component, I practice feeling calm certainty whenever I felt uncertainty or anxiousness starting to arise within me. What I would do is I would take 3 deep breaths and consciously shift into the feeling of I know everything will work out perfectly. That's it. Like an actor preparing for a role, except the role was actually my real life. And for the thought pattern, instead of my usual, what if this goes wrong? I practice thinking, I've fucking got this. I've got this. Every time I caught my mind going into worry mode, I would consciously redirect it to, I've got this. I remember walking into a meeting that would have normally made me anxious, and I just composed myself, started taking big deep breaths, walked tall, calm certainty, and walked in. Like, of course I belonged there. It wasn't forced or fake anymore. It was just who I was. And that is how neural rewiring works. You practice a new pattern consistently until your brain and body accepts it as your new normal. Consistency more than intensity. 20 minutes of practice every day beats 4 hours of practice once a week. So remember that week 2 is about strategic embodiment. One behavior, one emotion, one thought pattern of your new identity. Practice them consistently throughout the day. Your brain will start to accept these as your new default patterns. Now, week 3 is where we separate the real transformers from the people who just like the idea of transformation. The knowledge seekers, what I like to call them. This is the integration phase, okay? This is about who you say you are, if you are the real deal. It's about stress testing your new identity in real world situations. Okay, listen to this. Up until now, you've been practicing in controlled environments, right? The dojo, such as the meditation. But your new identity isn't real until it can handle the chaos of actual life. So week 3 is about deliberately putting yourself in situations that would normally trigger your old self and practicing responding as your new self instead. This is not for the faint-hearted. For me, this meant intentionally seeking out or calling up situations that would have normally made me anxious. I signed up to speak at a networking event. I had difficult conversations that I had been avoiding with my team, with my loved ones. And I put myself in situations where I used to feel insecure. I was like, what's the most uncomfortable thing I can do today? Let's do that. But here's what's amazing. By week 3, my new neural pathways were strong enough to handle these challenges. Instead of automatically reverting to anxiety, self-doubt, I found myself naturally responding with confidence and calm certainty. Okay, I'm gonna be truthful. The first couple of minutes was met with anxiety and self-doubt, but I know how to regulate and get into that state. Okay, and there was this one particular situation where someone criticized my work in front of a group of people. In the past, it would have sent me into a shame spiral for days, but instead, I found myself genuinely curious about their feedback, and I responded gracefully. It wasn't that I didn't feel anything. Okay. I just feel it from my new identity instead of my old one. Because the confident version of me could handle criticism because it wasn't a threat to my sense of self or sense of worth. And that is what I call new frequency stress testing. You are proving to yourself that your new self is real and reliable, not just a fantasy during meditation, right? Not just in a 30-minute to an hour of your day. Let me tell you, this is the difference between surface level change and deep transformation. Surface level change crumbles under pressure. Deep transformation gets stronger under pressure because it's built on solid foundations. And let me tell you, by day 18, I woke up and I had this moment where I realized I wasn't practicing being confident anymore. I was just confident. It had become my natural state, not something I had to remember to do, not performance. Because I was in this uncomfortable situation. And instead of having to consciously choose my response, I found myself naturally responding from confidence and certainty. Like my new identity had become my default operating system. And week 3 proves that your transformation is real. Because when you can maintain your new identity under pressure, in challenging situations, or with difficult people, that's when you know you're a master. That's when you know the pattern has hardwired and is now your new baseline. So week 3 is absolutely about integrating through a challenge. Okay? Deliberately putting yourself in situations that would trigger your old self. Are you brave enough to do that? I know you are. Okay? I know you are, because life will present that challenge to you whether you like it or not. That builds evidence of your transformation, and it is now real and reliable. So let's break down the daily 20-minute practice that actually makes all this possible. Okay, this isn't random meditation or generic mindfulness. There is a specific sequence designed to rewire our brain and body as efficiently as possible. So write this down. Morning routine, okay? 10 minutes of coherent breathing to regulate your nervous system. Signals safety to your body. This is not just relaxation. You are literally synchronizing your heart and brain rhythms to create the optimal state for neural rewiring. Okay? 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out. And let me tell you, you can feel your nervous system shifting from survival mode to creation mode, like switching from dial-up internet to fiber optic. Listen to this. The key is to get as relaxed as possible, not the counting. Okay? Get out of your head. The counting is just a reference. You can do it like a 5 seconds in, 3 second hold, 6 out, whatever. After that, 10 minutes of mental rehearsal, not generic visualization, but you are specifically seeing, feeling, and being your new self in scenarios that you'll face that day. If you have a meeting, you rehearse being confident in that meeting. If you have a difficult conversation, practice responding from a new identity, from a calm state. And then in the evening, simply 5 minutes reviewing the day. That's it. Celebrate moments where you chose your new self. That is so important because your brain learns through positive reinforcement. And then simply plan how to handle tomorrow differently. That's it. This evening review, game changing for me. Instead of just hoping I'd be different tomorrow, I was strategically planning how to be different. Like having a daily board meeting with myself and all versions of myself. So, now here's how you know it's all working, okay? Because there are measurable physical changes that prove your transformation is happening at the cellular level. So for me, my resting heart rate decreased as my nervous system regulated. My sleep improved as my stress hormones balanced or were mitigated. My posture naturally straightened as confidence increased without even, working on my back at the gym or shoulders. The best part is people start responding to you differently because my electromagnetic field has shifted. And so there are a lot of internal and actual physical benefits from all of this as well. For me, my sleep quality improved from 6 hours of restless sleep to 7 hours of deep restorative sleep. But the weirdest part was how people started responding to me differently. Strangers were smiling at me more. Like conversations flowed easier. People seemed more interested with what I had to say. I started wondering if I'd accidentally developed some kind of superpowers, like a social superpower. But then I realized I was just broadcasting a different frequency and people were responding to that energy. Okay? Remember, your frequency speaks before anything even comes out of your mouth. And these are not placebo effects, okay? They are biological proof that our identity is changing at the cellular level. Now, if you add placebo into it, well, you're going to skyrocket that even more. And our body is literally becoming our new self, not just our mind. But here's what most people miss. After 21 days, our new neural pathways exist, but they're not fully hardwired yet. Think of them like dirt paths that need to become paved roads, okay? So, you need to spend the next 14 days, so 35 days in total, reinforcing these patterns with less intensive practices. Instead of hourly check-ins, maybe do them every few hours instead. Instead of 20 minutes daily, you now drop to 10, okay? Now, I continued morning breathing and mental rehearsal but I reduced the evening review. But honestly, I elongated that because I know this shit works, okay? Just celebrate your wins in the evening, but keep practicing your new behaviors because they become more natural and require less conscious effort. Let me tell you, if you hit the 6-month mark, and I know you will, you can confidently say that you are a completely different person than who you were before this process. Not improved, totally different. That old version of you will feel like a character you used to play, but you're simply outgrown. That's available to you. I promise, that is available to you. Not gradual improvements for years, but systematic transformation in 21 days using our brain and body's natural rewiring process. Look, if you've been stuck in the slow change trap, thinking that real transformation takes years of therapy, endless self-work, I want you to know that there's a faster way. Our brain and body is designed to change quickly when you work with these neural patterns instead of against them. 21 days isn't just possible, but it's optimal for creating lasting neural change. I was the biggest skeptic of rapid transformation, and now it's my brand, Rapid Transformation. Today, I'm living proof that systematic changes beats random effort every single time, okay? This method I've shared today isn't just theory, but it's a step-by-step system based on neuroscience research and tested through real-world application. Remember step 3, okay? You gotta be a master at that. You gotta apply what you're learning. And if this is completely shifted on how you think about transformation and change and want to experience this for yourself, then check out the link in the description. Remember, your new identity isn't years away. It's 21 days away. The question is, are you ready to follow the process exactly how your being needs it?